Barking on MPW Digital, presented by Heath Riles Barbecue. I'm Landon, and welcome to the postgame show. What went right, what went wrong, and what was missing with Mississippi State against Texas A&M. Usually I'm able to say there's kind of plenty of all three. I think that there are some good things to look at for Mississippi State in this game, and we'll talk about them. But man, there's a lot of negative that's there as well, and so get ready for that. I think coming into the game, a lot of Mississippi State fans were really looking forward to a win or keeping it close, especially after last Saturday's game in overtime and a close loss to a very good Tennessee team. And what happens is when you have, and it doesn't matter in what it is, in relationships, in jobs, when you have a certain expectation and it's not met, people are a lot more discouraged, right? If you're in a relationship and one person thinks something is going to go one way and it goes the complete opposite, that's where kind of tension kind of builds up. In jobs, you think you're gonna aim to get the promotion, and actually they weren't considering you the whole time. They were going with this other guy. Unmet expectations really cause a lot of friction, and I think for Mississippi State fans, the expectations might have been a little off in this one compared to maybe what the reality was. I mean, Texas A&M came into this game with 10 different players that had at least one sack throughout the game. And in the game, I mean, A&M's defense was relentless all the way through and ended up having 4 sacks. I mean, even more than that, they pressured Blake Shapen all game and really made it to where he could not get in any sort of offensive rhythm. So I think whenever you look back at this game, there's plenty of things to look at. I mean, one, A&M is a very good team, 480 yards overall. They rushed for almost 300 yards. Had 77 plays to State's 51. But it all kind of, to me, came back to the offensive line for Mississippi State and the fact that Shapen did not have a lot of time. I know people will probably talk and say that this a lot of this game's on Shapen, and we'll get to that. Is it more Shapen than it is offensive line? We'll get to that, and we'll kind of get to what I think there actually is a very good positive in this game to look at, and we will get to that shortly, and talk about that because hey, this team does have a bye week next week. Could not come at a better time, and after the bye week, then you go on the road and play at Florida. Then you have Texas for homecoming. So the hits do not stop coming. And so we will cover that here in just a moment. But first, we want to let you know that this episode and every episode is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Heath Riles Barbecue. Heath Riles is home to award-winning rubs, sauces, glazes, just really great stuff. I used a competition rub on some spare ribs, St. Louis style ribs this morning. Absolutely phenomenal. You can see why he's won so much cash with that one. And it's created by his rubs are created by 2025 Memphis in May grand champion and 81 time grand champion Heath Riles. His products are trusted by pit masters and backyard cooks alike, just like me. For bold flavor and winning results, you can get his products at over 15,000 retailers nationwide, or we'll save you some money just for being a listener of the show. We'll give you 15% off whenever you go to his website, heathrilesbarbecue.com, enter promo code DAWGS10, DAWGS10 at checkout, get 10% off. Even if you're like, let's just try something out. Holler at me on X or Twitter. I'm always getting stuff from Heath Riles Barbecue. But once you try something from there, you'll realize like, oh, yeah, I ain't going anywhere else with this stuff. It's phenomenal. I also want to shout out Hovey Dry Goods. Man, are you looking for your new favorite Mississippi State hat? Look no further. Or hey, if you're just a sports fan in general, SEC fan, you're looking for your new favorite team hat, Hovey Dry Goods is the way to go. Hovey hats are high-quality headwear. They'll have your friends asking about them. And you can take a look at their full collection of Mississippi State hats or other teams at hoveydrygoods.com, Hovi drygoods.com. Hovey offers limited edition hats in small batches, bringing a fresh look to some of your favorite teams. So grab your new favorite hat at hoveydrygoods.com. And man, Mississippi State's offensive line was rough, man. They were out of balance. They had some dizziness all throughout there. Sounds like they need to holler at ENT physicians in North Mississippi. As the largest private ENT practice in the state, their goal is simple: deliver fast, expert, comprehensive care for patients of all ages with ENT, allergy, sinus, dizziness, balance, and voice-related needs, with same-day or next-day appointments with ENT urgent care for that annoying cough or sore throat, in-office CT scans, and same-day allergy testing, and access to their comprehensive audiology team offering a full range of services from hearing aids and custom hearing protection to potential surgical options. ENT physicians in North Mississippi are committed to removing barriers to care, and they now have new locations at New Albany and Starkville, in addition to Tupelo, Corinth, and more. Get more details at entnorthmississippi.com or call 662-844-6513. So, what went right, what went wrong, and what was missing for Mississippi State? I think the easy thing to see what went right for Mississippi State in this game was their defense. I mean, this is a game that it's kind of hard to think about it right now, but I mean, at halftime, this game was 7-3. Mississippi State's defense in the first half really played well and kind of did their part all the way around. I mean, the run game was kind of being stuffed by Mississippi State. They did obviously had that really good goal line stand where, I mean, for 4 plays, A&M could not get the ball across the way. Even Jamarcus Big Diesel Moy was in there getting some stops at nose tackle. And the defense did their part. Look, if you can hold Texas A&M to 7 points, and remember, A&M scored there at the very last, was a 151 left in the second quarter. If you can hold Texas A&M to 7 points, there's just no reason for you to only have 3 at that point. Like, the defense did. I know people hate on Coleman Hutzler, Mississippi State's defensive coordinator, and I get it. Last season was abysmal, but you got to face reality that the defense has been remarkable when it comes to the improvement, but also just the fact they're a much better defense. I mean, they were top 10 in turnovers, number 1 in the SEC coming into this game. They do a really solid job. The problem is the offense. As crazy as that is, we never would have thought that last year. But the offense is what has had absolute trouble. I mean, what went right for them? I'll say this also. Jerron Manning played a really good game. Tony Mitchell did a good job as well. But Jerron Manning played a really good game stepping in for Isaac Smith. I think Isaac Smith, I get the feeling like maybe he could have played possibly. But if you don't play him, you get to hold him out for next week as well, and then have him try to be, as close as you can to 100%. No one's 100% at this point in the season, but as close as you can to 100% by the time you go on the road at Florida in 2 weeks. So Jerron Manning played really well. What, he had 13 total tackles in this game. Tony Mitchell had 5 total tackles. So, hey, so did Big Diesel Moy. Just want to throw that out there. They played well, and Dinkins had a sack. They could have, you probably would love a little bit more pressure from the edges. State just doesn't have those kind of guys this year, especially after losing Whitson. So you're going to have to rely on them kind of stuffing up the run and the corners playing really solid and bringing in an extra person, linebacker to get home. But when it comes to everything else, it seems as if that's kind of where the good stops. State did have kind of a good running attack there in the first half, and then all of a sudden they started getting down early in the drive, getting behind the chains in second and 11s or second and 9s. And then they had to go ahead and start passing it. And that is where what went wrong comes in. I mean, the offensive line really showed an inability to even be competitive. I mean, it was pretty bad. I don't recall the last time I saw, because here's the thing. If I know people want Kamario Taylor and you want him in, but let's just be honest, man. Like, is he more athletic than Shapen? Absolutely. I don't. Shapen does not have that kind of ability to leave the pocket or to escape the rush. But do you want to get him hurt as well? Because inevitably you're going to have someone coming off either edge that's going to hurt a guy that is your absolute future. And so it's a shame. I mean, in both, Booth and Bothwell were really doing a good job early in the game. I mean, Booth ended the game averaging 7.5 yards a carry. And Shapen was 15 of 20. So it wasn't, I mean, he obviously had that bad interception, and it wasn't really completely on him. He got tipped. But after that, he was efficient throwing the ball. He could not he did not get a moment before he snapped it and bad things happened. The offensive line is really bad, and the unfortunate thing is State shook up the offensive line in the spring and brought more guys in the portal, kinda shooed a couple of guys out, even guys that came in December went right back out in the spring. Really, really tried hard to kinda shuffle up that area, and so they brought in a lot of bodies, and at this point, we're officially halfway through the season, and Mississippi State does not have it figured out just yet. That's a little troubling. That's something that as you go along with, you go, "Man, that's I don't really know how to how to deal with this." And there's a couple of things in this game that were unfortunate. Kamario Taylor, it's like he gets in and it's like the big play we're looking for just hasn't happened yet. State's there in a goal line situation. Kamario comes in, false start, moves everybody back. Kamario's out, and they don't see him again for the rest of the game. Against Tennessee, Kamario standing next to Jeff Lebby on third down and goal in overtime. And I had the thought, if State scores here, do you send Kamario in to say, look, if you score, State wins the game? State has not been able to see the big moment with Kamario yet, and you have to think it's coming because obviously Jeff Lebby still wants to continue to use him. But it's just incredibly frustrating from a fan standpoint, I'm sure, that State's got a couple opportunities, but then just cannot kind of close, can't close ultimately for what they're trying to do. I don't think the receivers played bad. Aiden Williams had some good catches. Obviously, Thompson and Shapen had some miscommunications. But the offensive line is kind of the crux of this game because it's why the run game stopped working, and it's why the pass game really never got going. And that's got to be. I mean, you have 2 weeks to fix it because Florida has a defensive line that can work you, and Texas has some really good players on their perimeter on the edge. And here's the thing: it's the SEC. You're not going to get many more. Like maybe Arkansas is your next chance of like not having to worry too much about a defensive line, and that might be your only one for the season. I know Ole Miss has not been as strong on the defensive line as they were last season, but they've got good players. So State's got to figure that out. But it's halfway through the season, so you got to figure like, okay, shouldn't they know at this point what's going to work and what's not going to work? That's the thing I think that really starts to concern you from that standpoint. Just a lot of things did not work in this game, and I mean that's the fifth largest attendance record fifth largest record at Kyle Field there in College Station. A big crowd, but I don't think that was the issue. I think it was just some of the productive or not so productive part of the offensive line. And I know everybody in the SEC is kind of facing this. Do you notice this? Everybody's facing that in terms of like not having cohesion in the offensive line. Every team is, except for the teams that play Mississippi State, like because Mississippi State they still cannot get a great pass rush. But this game's not on the defense at all. The defense just got exhausted after a little while. And so then they almost gave up 300 rushing yards or basically did give up 300 rushing yards to A&M. But I don't know how much of that is really on A&M's, production. It seems like at some point, State's defense was just so exhausted from being on the field so long. Listen to this time of possession. They almost double State. Aggies 38 minutes 17 seconds. State 21:43, and then 14 points off of. It's really really rough for Mississippi State. Just they were completely dominated by a much better team in this game, and then to top it all off, probably your best offensive player, Fluff Bothwell, goes out on a cart at the very end because Shapen throws a check down in a game that at this point doesn't matter anymore. I don't get it. I don't really understand what the purpose of that was. But now you have a bigger problem, and that is, well, geez, what's going to happen now with Fluff Bothwell? You hope you can get him back at some point this season. I don't know. Again, the bye week's coming at a great time, but you have to wonder why that play was called. Like it just seems like the game's over. And what's the hurt in at that point putting putting Camario in and just seeing what happens and putting it the second string, because the game's over. Is what, 31-9. A rough game for Mississippi State. I guess when you think about it, what was missing, I would say the adjustments. What went right for Mississippi State was the defense really held their own for as long as they could. What went wrong was the offensive line, and what was missing is the adjustments, particularly the adjustments when it came to the offensive line. They did not fix whatever was happening, and State was just getting 3 and out, and at some point the defense just had to give. So I don't know. State's got 2 weeks to figure that out, and I think the part of me that there's really two parts for you to be. There's one part to be really excited about, and that is that the defense really is very improved. I mean, they held A&M, a very good offense, to 7 points at the half, and just they were exhausted towards the end. The bad part about this is that if the offensive line has not been figured out yet, are they ever going to get it figured out? And that's something to be worried about for a Mississippi State fan. Now, take a deep breath. Again, the expectations thing, I think, is a big part of this. Texas A&M's a really good team. A&M is going to be fighting for a playoff spot. And you had them kind of on the ropes there all the way up until half. And if your offense was anything but like productive at all, this could have been a closer game. A&M's a much better team than Mississippi State, so I'm not going to say State would have won. But, man, a rough game. And you hate it for Shapen, because Shapen looked so frustrated on the sideline at his offensive line. And what can you do when you're snapping it? And go back and watch. When he snaps it and he takes the drop back in the pocket, I understand. He's looking right, looking left. He's waiting for the players to go down and get open. And by the time he has snapped it and he steps up in the, I mean, there's already a bull rush. If it's not on the tackle, because once they get through the tackles, you're donezo. They're getting a push on the interior parts of the offensive line, and there's no chance. And again, Shapen does not have the athleticism to hop back. We've seen him try to do it. He didn't have it to hop back and kind of scroll to the left, scroll to the right. He just doesn't have it. I mean, the fact that he's okay and not injured, not too injured in this game, I mean, to me is encouraging. But look, State's got some adjustments. If they want to get to a bowl game, all you got to do is win 2 games. You got 6 more to go, or at least 5 more to go. Yeah, 6 more to go. So that the odds are good in that standpoint, but not good when it comes to this offensive line. They can just be picked on. So a lot of things to fix and figure out. Man, but here's some messages from MPW Digital. Thank you guys as always for listening. Make sure you follow us on Twitter as well, by the way, at MyDawgsPod, on all the socials. We have a giveaway for a Hovey hat and for the Hovey Performance hat each week. Man, make sure that is something you check out, because Hovey is so awesome, and it's so great that they would give us, that obviously that they sponsor a show, but also that they would give our listeners something to wear, man. So make sure you do that. Now, every Thursday is when the tweet goes out. You got to reply to the tweet with the winner and also the score of the game. So make sure you have that every single Thursday, and watch us on Thursdays as well for the matchups and pick show with Austin and myself.
All MPW digital podcasts are brought to you by our friends at Parish Brewing Company, located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana. Parish Brewing Company's simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they do it remarkably well. The doctor is introducing their new go-to IPA, Dr. Juice. It's a highly crushable juice bomb, dry hopped with a blend of their favorite hand-selected hops from the Yakima Valley in Washington. Dr. Juice's drinkability is sneaky good, considering it clocks in at 6% ABV. The pour glows a rich cantaloupe hue with a thick frosted haze, soft mouthfeel, an aroma and taste that's full of passion fruit, papaya, and blood orange, making it drink like a glass of freshly squeezed juice. They also have Ghost in the Machine. It's a double IPA brewed with obscene quantities of hand-selected Citra hops from Yakima Valley. Expect pungent grapefruit flavors and aromas, tropical fruit, less harsh bitterness than most IPAs. Again, it's Parish Brewing Company. Wherever you get your beer, check out Parish. Make sure that you look for them, because any beer that you get from Parish is going to be absolutely outstanding. Thank you from MPW
Steps
Digital.
away from the drill field on campus and a short walk to Davis Wade Stadium, 5 Points Condominiums puts the Mississippi State University at your doorstep. The fully renovated, large 3-bedroom, 3.5-bathroom floor plans at over 1,600 square feet of living space feel even bigger with 9-foot ceilings. 5 Points Condominiums is a perfect place for Bulldog students, parents, alumni, and fans to call home. For purchase information on the best deal in Starkville, call Kane and Overstreet Properties at 662-323-8618. That's Kane and Overstreet Properties, 662-323-8618.